Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to the European Racing Series Grand Prix here in the United States of America. I'm Ben Raggy McConnell, and joining me on the caster's desk, as per always, is David Time Tate. How you doing?
Howdy, brother.
Howdy.
You just blew my ears out with that really passionate intro. I don't think I can match your energy there.
Oh, my bad. I mean, you gave me a howdy, brother. That's a good start. We'll take it.
I'm getting into that. I'm getting into character, getting into the spirit of this USA Grand Prix.
Do you still have your mustache?
I do not. I shaved it off. I got tired of people calling me a pedophile. If you want the honest answer, there you go.
Not what he means is a trucker.
Quickly moving on. 14 drivers. No Nicholas Longe. Nicholas Longe. Overwatch Hypers. That's the one I was thinking of. The other quick guy.
So the reason why is because he severely hates the circuit. But alongside that, he's also got a 24-hour race this weekend that he has to really practice for. So don't blame him for for choosing to practice for that rather than racing here. But you know what? It's still a good range of drivers here. Mizzo's still here as well. So I'm actually going to ask you right now for your top 3 prediction. Go.
Okay. I've been thinking about this before we started the stream. It's gonna be a real three-way, no sexual pun intended, between some idiot, Mizzo, and Pampernick, and I just can't split them at the moment. I'm gonna take a bet and say Mizzo, some idiot, then Pampernick, but I don't know. Truth be told, I just don't know.
I mean, if you don't give it to some idiot on home territory, then there's something seriously wrong. Like, this guy is very fast, and on his own home circuit, like, he's gonna be practiced. He's gonna want to get a really solid result. You know how patriotic Americans tend to be. So give him his fair dues. I'm gonna put him on the top step. I think he's gonna get that pole position without doubt. I think Mizzo will probably be second, and then P3. It's either between Yonti or Pampernick for me, but I'm gonna go with Yonti.
Okay. I just don't get the feeling that I've been talking to him, obviously. I've raced with, well, I don't race with him, but I work with him in league racing, and I just don't get the impression that he likes the circuit very much. As much as he's happy and willing to do well in his home country, home circuit, I just don't get the feeling that he's that excited for this. I'm not sure if that means he's slow or he's super confident. Yeah. I don't know, but
no. I'm at risk of getting shot here when I say this, but I'm also in the same boat when it comes to Silverstone. Like, I'm really not that much of a fan of Silverstone. Now, whether or not it's because I'm just bad at it, which is probably more the case, I still can't bring myself to want to race it. It's easily one of my weakest circuits, mainly because of the amount of time I haven't spent on it. But, either way, Some Idiot will start a hot lap as well, and I believe we should do a hot lap rundown. Do you want to do it on Some Idiot?
Yeah, sure. Coming into the best circuit in the universe, up the hill, braking into turn 1. You've got to get nice and tight and open it up, down into turn 2, down that hill, into one of the best circuits, portions of circuit in the world. It's left, it's right, and it's back left, and it's back right again, and into a double apex. And it is so easy to cut and invalidate, but you need that precision to try and get the time, and so it's just a little wiggle there over the top of the hill and back down once more into one of the second hairpin into a DRS turn. And it's a very clean exit down this super long straight, which is going to be amazing for overtaking or saving battery, whichever one you want to do. Brake around 100. He takes it much later actually and does lock up, but he makes the corner really well. Back to the outside, try and avoid that sausage curve and try and get a really good run, hit that double apex. Now run wide before this corner, bring it in for the late apex. Try and get as best run you can, go wide but not too wide. Don't hit that first apex, go for the second. Interesting, doesn't decide to stay tight. He might lose a bit of time, but in the race that would be the best line. The penultimate corner, stretching those track limits as much as he can. Takes that apex for the final corner. Nothing spectacular, no sliding on the exit, and it's a pole position by some margin.
Does that strike fear in your prediction yet?
Nope, not at all.
Okay. Well, it should, because, I mean, look at him. what's that, 5/10 ahead of Yonti? Very comfortably ahead. That's, yeah, granted, there's still 13.5 minutes left to go. There's still tons of time for the track to roll.
Alfa Romeo coming through the final corner of the Alfa Romeo of Mizzo, and it's okay, fair enough.
Yeah.
I was right about Mexico. I was right about Mexico. You could be right about this one, okay?
Yeah, I mean, look, some idiot, a very, very quick driver, just full stop. In his home circuit, this is the area where you expect him to be good naturally. I think he's actually... I think the benefit he has here, he's a very strategic kind of driver. Okay, you saw what he did last week in Mexico against the likes of Hypers, for example, and he beat him. Hypers chose to go for a 2-star strategy, and some idiot decided to stretch his soft tire a bit further, sacrificing the time on the soft tires, but then making it all work when he got into the mediums later on, and ultimately it benefited him massively.
Yep, 400 IQ.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's a brilliant guy, and a brilliant racer as well. Just, yeah, he's constantly thinking, you know, what if I do this? What happens if I do this? What if I push a little bit extra? Is that going to burn up the tires? What can I gain versus what am I going to lose by doing this? He's very analytical like that.
Yeah, for sure. I like that about him because it's not just going out there and just absolutely smashing it. To be honest, this circuit is a circuit where setup matters more than probably any other circuit because it comes down to this one clear factor. Your aerodynamical grip matters most in Sector 1 and Sector 3. In Sector 2, it really doesn't affect you that much because Sector 2 starts partway through the S's, which is, you know, yeah, part of it. But the other part is this whole back straight. I mean, right now, Danico's getting a tow from Copy, so this is really well coordinated between the two of them. It's actually been a huge tow for Danico, as long as he doesn't screw up on the braking here, which he, only slightly, he's kept it still going quite nicely. But yeah, if somebody has chosen to have less wings, so he can be like a rocket on the back straight, but then suffer a little bit in Sector 1, Sector 3, then in my opinion, that's the wrong thing to do. I think he's going to go for the higher wings, benefit most in Sector 1, Sector 3, pull away enough of a gap to get away from the 1 second margin from whoever's behind him, and then just use that to keep himself safe in the second sector.
Looks like we've got someone joined. I'm not sure if they're supposed to be here, but I've got another 15th driver. But Danico comes across the line for P2, and no doubt that slipstream helped him a lot.
Yeah,
and I think that is going to be something, a little element that some idiot will not be benefiting from, because to my knowledge, Pampernick is not a driver that communicates with his teammate. Some idiot definitely is, but Pampernick, I don't believe so.
Well, regardless of that, Pampernick has just set a purple Sector 1 from what I've just seen on the track map on the right. So now he has to carry this through all the way down into towards Sector 3 and make sure that the Sector 3 is clean. Luckily, Sector 3 for the most part is pretty simple. It's, you know, there are some awkward corners, and it's just all about making sure that the rear doesn't step out that often. Purple Sector 2 as well. This is looking like it could be the best, the new pulse in time.
Yep. Looks like, I think JC behind him has it validated. Yeah, so it's just Pampernick here on the hot lap. Coming to the penultimate corner, and Luke retires from the session. Maybe a qualifying ban.
I'm not aware of any, but that doesn't mean they don't have any. Oh, a bit of a step out there from Pampernick, but he does cross the line and still secures pole position. Yeah, granted, it's what, 400ths of a second, but still, the fact that he's able to do that after the back end stepped out so severely, that is huge.
Style points as well. You're not thinking about the style points. He's definitely, he's the people's champion now because of that slide. Doesn't matter what happens in the race. He's the winner in my books.
Yeah, no, fair play. I mean, yeah, the additional style points, it does equate to the 400ths of a second that he got ahead of some idiot. It won't work in the race, though. Doing that in the race will just destroy your tyres and he will crumble. So, yes, if he's a time trial man, fantastic. Very happy for him. If he's not, then well, he's done for.
Are you saying there's something negative about people that just main time trial and are terrible in league races?
Yeah. Yes, I am.
I feel like that's a personal attack against me. But, you know.
Take it how you wish. Pentalux is about to start. Well, he's already on a hot lap, sorry, going down the back straight.
Mizzo's just started his, but yeah, Pentalux further down, so let's have a look at him. Down in P6 at the moment. He's got about 7/10 to make up to the two Williams drivers. I mean, he's not going to do it like that. Big lockup. I don't think he got penalised for cutting there, but it was a fair cut.
See, this area of the circuit is actually quite frustrating, especially that braking zone there. It's just such an awkward one. It's like Bahrain, turn 10, I think it is, where you're coming downhill braking whilst turning, and you're not allowed to put too much brakes on because you'll immediately lock up and you'll just disappear off into the wall. You're not allowed to put too little braking because you'll just disappear off into the wall. And you can't turn too much because you'll just disappear off into the wall. It's just such a hard area to brake on in Bahrain, and it's the same here. There's a bit more of a runoff, so there's less... less death involved, but still, it can very easily ruin your race.
Yeah, it's an absolute dream if you are driving behind someone for that corner, because they have two options. They don't defend the inside and they go for the late apex, meaning you can dive in and force them wide, or they protect the apex and completely screw their run onto this corner, giving you a chance to take them into the penultimate corner. It's a nightmare to defend around this track. It's a beautiful track to set up some really complicated overtaking moves that span multiple corners, as Mizzo brings my top 3, not in the right order admittedly, but it is my top 3, and it's right at the moment.
Yeah, my worry is he's done his lap so much more recent than the other two that are in that top 3, and he's only improved to a 31.0, and then Samidia just goes and slaps in another 10th or 2 in there just to bring himself up into a higher step. 130.7. Pan Pernick. Yeah, I think he's probably going to beat him, and in retrospect, I think I should probably have changed my prediction to Pan Pernick P1. But Samidia can surprise us.
I completely agree, but I think some idiot's strength is not qualifying. He is strong, but it's not his strength. His strength is race pace, keeping a cool head, not getting embroiled in any sort of battles, not burning tires unless he has to. He's very much like Lewis Hamilton in that respect, and I hate that guy, but I can see the same qualities, apart from I don't get screamed that his tires are dying every 3 corners. So I thank him for that.
Good guy. Yeah, all right, copy to the line. Does improve, not by much. Fragioco goes P9 as well, 131.6. We have the other Renault about to start a hot lap. Now, the one thing to note, Danico did a massive lockup at the end of the back straight because he was giving the toe to Copy. He didn't see that the Ferrari Fragioco, was actually coming up to the end of it as well on a hot lap. So Danico got caught out, slammed on the brakes, all 4 wheels locked up. And yeah, that's going to have severely impacted the tyre life. We'll worry about that later, I guess. But 5 minutes and 50 seconds to go. Should really have enough time to get another run in. He just has to make sure that he improves on that third set of tyres. Otherwise, he's in big trouble coming into the next race.
Yeah, coming up to his teammate now. I think they are working together, and I think he's going to get one hell of a suck down this final straight.
Yeah, definitely. Look at this.
Yeah, that is really well coordinated.
Now this brings back memories, seeing Copy in front, giving the toe back to when Nick Turner Copy used to do this on a regular basis. They were so good at it as well. It's like they just rehearsed it over and over and over again. So Copy's going to be a natural at it. He knows exactly when to go out, he knows exactly where to be, and exactly when to accelerate, and how to manage his pace whilst he's giving the toe. And it's benefiting Danico massively.
This is a hell of a lap. If he improves by about a 10th in this final sector, he's on provisional pole, I think, Ben. That was one hell of a second sector. That was the perfect draft. He didn't overtake him or anything. He got right up to his rear wing. Copy moved over brilliantly, and he's invalidated it.
No, you saw that. You saw the hesitation.
Oh my god! I wanted to see that, and it was provisional pole.
Oh no!
They've got time.
Heartbreak.
They've got time, but I think that was Danico's turn. I think it's Copy's turn for the slipstream next time. So Danico could well have missed his opportunity there, but still a chance for Copy, I think. And if they're working this well together, I could well see Copy in the top 3.
Yeah. Honestly, this is magic for these guys. They have really, really demonstrated what they're capable of. I really can't wait to see what the end product looks like. My worry is that I feel like Danico's lap, the stars aligned up until that point. Everything was perfect until he just hesitated just slightly. We're talking second to last corner. That's just how trivial that is. But it's so blind. You're coming over a bit of a crest of a hill as you come into the corner, and suddenly the corner's there, and you're just hitting and hoping that you've timed it just right.
Yeah, that is the benefit of practice. It's building that muscle memory. It's even subconsciously knowing when to turn in. not using any visual cues. It's just like, yep, my brain's telling me I need to turn in. This is the point in the lap where I turn right or turn left.
Yeah.
And you just do it without even thinking. And I think, no, we've got a couple cars on track, but it is that certain period during the qualifying session, isn't it?
Yeah, it's that quiet bit before some sort of rainy session, you know?
But Mizo has he's on an outlap right now, it's invalidated. I think he's going to try and beat the traffic. We also, no, Danico, I thought he was going to stay out, he pulled the dummy there and he debated me a little bit, but it does look like, yeah, Mizo is going to go with 3 minutes to go. So not the perfect track conditions, but no chance of him getting held up by any traffic.
So Luca on a hot lap, like you said, again, bit of a strange time. You've still got another 3 minutes worth of track evolution, really, to capitalize on. So odd that he's decided to go here, but if it works out for him, then fantastic. I think he's just more worried about not being caught up by anybody. There are some areas of the circuit where it's quite difficult to pass people, even if they are letting you by. So we'll see how Luca's lap does. Massive lockup left side.
Yeah, not the best way to take that corner at all, and you don't want to do that too many times in the race because this is a place where tyre temp can be a bit of an issue. It certainly was in 2019 anyway. I haven't really raced it in 2020 in anger, but I suspect just the nature of the track, the slow corners, and just how hot Texas is in general is going to mean that it's going to be a pretty warm one for the drivers. Very similar to Mexico.
Ooh.
As Luca
This is a bad
fails
call.
on that, and he's not going to get time for another one.
No.
So
Interesting.
that is Luca P13, unless someone disqualifies.
Well, Mizo is actually
Anyway,
invalidated and he's going
yeah,
again. I think that's probably the reason why he's done it as early as he did.
Yeah, I hope he wasn't running close on fuel because he's not going to have enough. But I suspect he probably got enough for an in lap. In that case, he'll just burn his in lap fuel and then run out of fuel on track, which might cause some problems with the stewards. But you've kind of got to go for it, haven't you? Really?
Well, I think as long, in my, you know, again, I'm not representative of the stewards in any way, shape or form, but in my personal opinion, I don't think it really matters if you run out of fuel on the circuit. As long as you don't impede anybody, you don't get in the way of anybody at all, don't cause anybody to have a mild panic attack as they're coming through the S section. I don't see why running out of fuel on track is that big a problem, really. But, you know, if the stewards have a problem with it, that's down to them. And we'll see how Mizo does. Oh, I thought he was going to turn a bit too early there. I actually did a league race here on Sunday myself. The drivers around me, they were all doing softs to mediums. So, he's invalidated again.
Yeah,
Stop invalidating Mizo. That's his quality done. He can't improve.
That's kind of unfair because that is the F1 line. You do run all four wheels over the track there, but yeah, the game not allowing that on its strict corner cutting. That's unfortunate.
Yep.
And I'm not sure how he's going to pick himself up for this because he's got two Williams that I don't think will be too keen to fight each other in the early stages of the race. I think the fact that they are in the same colour might have an effect on their decision making. I don't think they're like super close or communicating at all, to be honest. But I do think they'll give each other an extra bit of space because they are both technically teammates for this race.
Yeah, so, I mean, like I was saying, in terms of strategy, soft mediums is absolutely doable here, and I wouldn't be surprised if we saw people try this. But I did a soft hards, and I felt way more comfortable towards the end. But end of qualifying session, Copy has qualified and stayed P3, has knocked Mizo down. Danico will go P5, so he's not going to improve much more than that. There are still plenty of people behind, though, that have a chance to knock them down. Yonti will not be one of them. He goes P7, and that's the best he can achieve. Here comes Beaker. Not improved. I mean, he did slightly, but not enough to actually go anywhere further. And he's still pretty close to Lex Danico. You know, less than a tenth between them. That should really have been him just getting out a little bit further, a little bit more. Is that Ferrari that's had a mistake? Yeah, Dennis. Dennis has had an off.
Yeah, no wing damage, but yeah, definite off. That's not good news. Because, you know, the cars are running at their highest levels of grip here. I guess he's pushing pretty hard, but there's a brand new softs. You shouldn't be sliding around on those.
No.
So I just wonder how that's going to affect him in the race. As some idiot comes across the line, he does improve. It's a 7:05, but coming through the final corner is Pampernick.
Invalidated.
A little bit of a slide, a little bit of a weave, and yeah, improves, but he's invalidated. That's a shame. Just chilling, getting unusually close to his teammate, it has to be said.
Max Thorn will stay at P12. It did improve.
Yeah.
It was a 32.396, but yeah, P12 is where he sits.
Yeah, a little bit rusty, I think. He hasn't been league racing in quite some time, I don't believe. And he actually made the decision to race today. I think today he made that decision, so obviously not practiced a whole lot. So I do expect Max Thorn to just run around the back for a bit and then probably bring out a safety car, if I'm honest. But, you know, that's all part of the Max Thorn experience, trademark.
Somebody is clearly not happy for Giaco. He's repeatedly smashing his gearbox in. So, interesting.
Well, that's just the expert programming of Codemasters F1 2019. Please pre-order F1 2020.
In fairness, it does look really good, actually. I'm hoping it should be... my fingers are crossed, my toes are crossed, we'll see what happens. But that is the end of the qualifying session. Somebody has managed to secure pole position. Granted, it was only just over a 10th, and Copy's right there on the back of them as well. So this is going to be a close battle for P1, 2, 3. But Mizzo, again, this is quite concerning. I know it's only 3 tenths off, and you think, but it's only 3 tenths off. Yeah, it is. But Simidia's race pace is better.
I think Mizzo could have been much closer than that. He was very unlucky and validated twice. I do think Mizzo's got more pace than that. Whether he was quicker than those two, I doubt it, but I think he would have been around a 10th away.
Yeah, but that's the concern, is if he's invalidating like that, granted obviously he's pushing hard in the qualifying, but it does start to give you a little bit of an inkling that he's going to get some penalties when it comes into this race, as majority of drivers are. This is a circuit where penalties are very easy to obtain here. You know, like you said earlier, that bit that is the F1 line, in this game, it's not, you know, you'll get penalised for it if you cut it. And like I say, I raced here just at the weekend and I got quite a decent amount of penalties, but obviously these guys are way, way better than me. But again, I think Simidia's race pace is just that much better, and I'm hoping Mizzo can keep up with him. I'm hoping that Mizzo can actually contend for that race win. I would love to see them have a showdown throughout the majority of this race.
Okay. I agree. I think it's going to be the Williams show. I'm not entirely convinced who's going to come out on top here, though. It's very close. It's too close to call, almost.
Well, I'm going to ask you to call it.
You're going to ask me to call it?
Yeah. What's your 1, 2, 3?
It's going to be a DRS train. So it could all go out the window after lap 3, but I think... For me, it is Simidia. He just seems to be more consistent. Pampernik is going to be really good. He's going to run him really close. But it could go either way.
Yeah, for sure.
Third place is anyone's guess, but I think Mizzo.
Well, this is the formation lap then, being led around by Simidia. Pampernik, his teammate, chasing him down as well. Now, bear in mind, the running towards turn 1 is quite severe. You need to make sure, because you're on the inside line, you need to make sure that if you're going to go for a move, you take it as tight as possible. But you need to make sure your exit is as clean as can be. It's the only way you're going to make that overtake work, because obviously somebody is going to be aiming for the apex as much as he possibly can. Obviously, if you're alongside, he has to give space, but he will have momentum going through it. You just have to make sure that as we go round the outside, you've got everything clean.
I mean, we're in America. It's the home of the bump and run. This is going to be an interesting turn 1. It always is. It's one hell of a braking zone. The uphill lets you brake deceivingly late, and it's a really pleasurable thing to do. That sounded really weird, I'm sorry. It's a great feeling. You can just brake so late and the car just stops. It's beautiful. But yeah, I completely agree. But that outside line is going to be pretty good. I think it's going to get you a nice run down the hill. Whether you're going to try and make a stab through the S's while they're not looking, I mean, that could be exciting to see, but I don't know. It all depends on where cars are at certain points in time.
Well, they say in this country, they say rubbing is racing.
Okay, come on, brother.
Not in F1 cars, then.
No. If these aren't designed to rub, these aren't designed to bump and run, these aren't designed to bunt draft. None of the fun things you see in IndyCar or NASCAR. Boring old F1. We're going to have a boring
You better take that back.
Parade. It's going to be horrible. It's going to be terrible. And
take
you might
that
as well
back.
switch off right now.
Take that back, because look at the strategies. Obviously, all the top 10 have to stay on the tyres they qualified on, but those outside of it have all gone for the medium tyres. Now, that's where it's going to come down to it later. Spicy has to join us. He missed the qualifying, but he will join us for the actual race itself, and he will have a chance now to demonstrate what he's capable of. However, he will have to start on default setup, so bear in mind, he won't necessarily be as quick in the second sector, but in the first and third, he should be rapid. As the lights are on then, somebody needs to get a very quick start. And it's go time here in the USA, and I think Pampernic's actually probably got a better start here. Looking at it, coming in towards turn 1, he might be able to snitch down the inside. Just Chillin's up to P4. Mizo's had a horrific start. JC might even get P3 if he can. Some idiot still fighting with his teammate. Here comes Copy back down the inside. We'll get back into P3. JC will filter into P4 again, and Danico falls to P6.
Yeah, sort of a bit of carbon fiber flying somewhere. I'm just trying to figure out where it came from. I think it might be a Red Bull. I think it is Luca. Missing an end plate. I'm gonna just lean in for a closer look, and yeah, it is Luca missing an end plate. Not sure if anyone else is coming into any trouble, but that is one position up for Max Thorne, as Pentathlux has a little look at Yonti but decides not to make that move. But he's gonna have another chance here, but he doesn't get a good exit. He's gonna be vulnerable to Fragioko now, who pulls up, but I don't think he's got the straight line speed.
He's very close to it. Look, he's actually pretty much alongside him, but he does have the inside for this corner. And this is where it gets to a really awkward side-by-side battle. If you continue going side-by-side through the rest of this sector, you are literally going to be inside, outside, outside, inside, inside, out. It's just not a fun area to be in. So you get the outside for here, but then you're stuck on the inside for this one, and you're going to try and get yourself back in again. The cutbacks just don't work on this track.
Yeah, and it's just not what you want to be doing in lap 1. I know it's tempting to try and make up those positions, but the more you fight, the more at risk you are of losing out on that DRS train. As Mizo drops down to 5th, he's now behind Just Chillin'.
Yeah, I mean, it looked like he just got bogged down off the start. He just could not get away when he needed to. But I mean, he's not the biggest loser. So currently the biggest loser is actually Beaker. He's lost 3 places. The biggest winner is Spicy, who's gained 3 places. So he's currently sitting pretty. Bear in mind, he's on that default setter, which is really not easy to drive on a circuit like this. Yeah, you'll have the extra dynamic pressure on the car, but the balance is just all wrong, and you need that as you get later in on these tyres. So we'll see later when we get to about lap 7, lap 8 on the softs, whether or not they work for him.
I'm not sure if that's true. Is it? Do you have to start on the default if you haven't set a qualifying lap?
It's the fact that he joined and you can't change your setup because of park firming. I believe.
Sure. I think the game works to you if you haven't turned a lap in qualifying.
I'll let you test it and you confirm. But one thing we can say is Luca has come into the pits, like you said, due to that damage that he had earlier, and he has switched to hard. So he's going to be looking to take these to the end. I can tell you they will go to the end. Whether they're going to be competitive enough is a different story.
Yeah, I think it's just going to be a miserable 45 minutes for Luca driving around on those hard tyres, and he picks up a 3-second time penalty there as well.
Oh, Fragioko and Pentathlux are still battling hard. Look, he's still actually keeping it alongside, and there goes Fragioko down the inside. Although Pentathlux is coming straight back at him again. The cutbacks I said didn't work. He's just gone, shut up, Rwaggy. Yes, they do. Back in a P8 he goes. Yeah,
that's what I said about that corner. You have to take that outside line to get the good exit, but it just leaves you so vulnerable for someone like Pentathlux to just go in there and just take that apex off you, and there's not much you can do about it.
Dennis is all over
Pampernick
the rear
is
beacon.
1.2 seconds away.
Yeah.
So the DRS train is left without him. Well, there is no DRS train. It's some idiot out on his own. Whether that will be a good thing for him or a bad thing for him, I'm not too sure, because it's a long way for him to be working on his own. No help from anywhere. But
I mean, he's backed out again. You can see that Pampernick, is actually doing well to get back into the DRS range. He was there. He's lost it again, but you know, this is kind of going against Pampernick here, because remember what you said earlier. Somebody is very much a team player. He very much focuses on trying to be as useful to the team as possible. And if Pampernick was communicating with him, he'd know, actually, look, I'm outside the DRS range. I need your help. Can you pull me along here? And right now, he's just dripping away. You can see a 1.5 second gap. And all this is going to do is allow every single driver behind to just get closer and closer. And Mizo is actually falling back as well.
And not just get closer, but be able to just take it easier. Burn less fuel, burn less energy. And in some elements, actually tyre save. It's much easier to follow a car, study their lines, and drive better. It really is. Big moment from Luke down in P13.
Yeah.
Max still getting close to the back of him, and he's sliding around again. I think he might have overheated his tires.
Have a look. Yes, he has. 110, 111, 100. Oh, wow. His tires are getting hot. 120 degrees, apparently, according to his dash on the rear left. So, yes, accelerating in the lower gears will be a problem for him. Keep an eye here, see if he can actually tame the beast. Yep, he did. So the tires.
Check me out. I'm Ben McConnell, and I've got telemetry that can work. Oh, okay.
Nah, I'm just looking physically at his dash on the screen.
Wait, really? You can do that? Oh, yeah. Right, I get it, yeah. Sorry.
See, being a cockpit cam driver, I actually know what I'm looking at on the dash. I can see his temperatures on the tires.
How can you... Wow, that is some serious 5-head commentary.
Yeah, you have to go on board in order to see it. But if you look now, you can see it now. 111. His rears are hot. His entire car is just so hot right now. And again, this is on medium tires. If he's planning to take these to do a medium soft strategy, he's not going to make it. They're just going to crumble.
Yeah, this, like I said, is a horrible track for tire wear, for tire temperature. And if people can copy actually B3.
Oh, Fragioko! He's going for a send and a half on Penthalux. They're going to be side by side throughout again. They're battling non-stop throughout the circuit, and this is only working wonders for Yonti, who's been able to just pull away 3-second gap right now. Penthalux has fallen behind, but he's still here, not looking for the inside line. This time,
Beaker sends it on Penthalux on that same section where I say you're damned if you take that outside line. He spins. No contact. He just loses the rear end, and he's into the back of the wall. Well, his back's into the wall, I should say. Carries on. Obviously, no damage on that rear wing available in F1. Just the front wing that gets hurt. But yeah, he carries on, but with some... I imagine if Ben McConnell gets his 400 IQ vision, they're pretty spicy tires, aren't they?
They were 125 degrees when he had finished hitting the wall. They were very, very hot. Needless to say, in the pits, I think that's the only decision he can make here. Luckily, they've made the cars indestructible on the rear in this game, so he's not dead by any stretch of the imagination, but IRL, that would have definitely been a dead car.
Yeah, Dennis Wedges, or however the hell you say it. Bloody
Max.
Foreigners. Max is out, and he brings out a safety car. I told you he would drive around the back and bring out a safety car. It's still a safety car. So there is Max Thorne bringing out a safety car as he always does.
Yeah.
Real or not real, it's still a safety car.
If you're Penthalux or Luca, you are heartbroken. You see the safety car come up, but you see the word virtual in front of it, and then you know, I still can't gain anything here. So if a full safety car came out, this would have been the race-saving moment for them, and potentially even the biggest benefit they could actually get, because of the fact they'll be on the hard tires. They don't have to pit again. They can go right the way to the end, whereas everybody ahead of them will have to pit.
So yeah, Max Thorne on his great lead comeback, drives around the back, spins, and then leaves the session.
That's an instant quali ban, isn't it?
Poetry. I believe so. I'm not sure.
If you leave the session that's still in progress, it's a quali ban, I believe.
Yeah, I'm not sure if he's going to be able to serve that quali ban. But yeah, I agree with you. But yeah, Pampernick has gained on some idiot. Pampernick seems to be doing much better on energy, although neither of them are suffering too badly. They're both managing it pretty well. But Copy now is the one that's lost out and suffered. He's 1.4 seconds behind Pampernick, as Danico gets a penalty. Highest driver up to do so, I think.
Now,
I think the first... Oh, sorry, yeah, go on.
I don't know how Summit's going to play this. I don't know what he's planning to do about his teammate. He's going to be torn, really, think about it. He wants to help his teammate, but at the same time, he doesn't want to give his teammate the position because they're not actually in communication. They're not in cahoots with each other. Beaker goes for a send on Dennis into the hairpin, if you want to call it. Now coming onto the back straight. Oh, big wobble there from Dennis into Spicy. This is actually a 3-wide battle here. They are so close. Spicy getting alongside the Ferrari whilst using the toe of Beaker, praying that the Ferrari gives him some space. And I think Spicy may have to go for a spicy lunge down the inside, along as Luke is coming in as well, trying to find his way alongside the Ferrari. This is a 4-car battle all the way through the second sector and now into the third. I don't know. I think Spicy's got it, but I think it's going to be Dennis who loses out the most, as here comes Luke down the inside of Beaker. Beaker's going to fight him. He's going to hold him off, but the tyres are not going to work out too greatly for him later. And yeah, look at that. He's already seen the mistake made. And luckily for Beaker, Luke gets caught up in it. Can't go anywhere, although he goes for another send. This is surely not going to work, and he doesn't. Luke getting rotated. That's a mistake.
Yeah, not sure who's to blame there. Beaker turning for the corner as he normally would, not spotting Luke. Beaker, just FY, has a bit of wing damage. He's had it since that battle started when they were 3 wide down the back straight. And that, I think, is what bunched the cars up to enable such an intense battle. It's just chilling. And Mizzo get 3-second time penalties exactly at the same time.
Yep.
That is not good news for Alfa Romeo.
I mean, I kind of called it at the end of the qualifying that, you know, Mizzo is going to start to struggle on this circuit as the race goes on. You know, he struggled in the qualifying session to not invalidate his lap times. And once you get into that sort of mindset where you're invalidating already, it's hard to break out of it. Mizzo might fix it now. I'm hoping he can correct his ways. We have a yellow flag, but I don't see what has caused that. That'll probably be Luke, I think, actually losing his car again. Let's go to my trusty eyes and see his tyres. They're okay right now. They're not too hot, but they would have been earlier. Pretty hot.
Yeah, I'm surprised at Mizzo, to be honest. I thought he'd be quicker than this. I think this is the first time we've seen him stuck behind his teammate.
Yeah.
He's comfortably outperformed him all season, and just, I know he's not trying too hard. He's kind of content where he is right now. I don't see him pushing too hard to get any higher, but it's just a bit miserable as Danico and Yonti dive into the pits, trying for that undercut. I think this is a sensible thing to do.
Yeah, I mean, but it is 20 laps on the mediums. That's because I mean that's what they're going for right now. You can see the tires going on the cars for both of them. I mean, it's not doable. Your tires are going to be really bad towards the end. And again, these hards, for example, especially Penthalox, as long as he can manage them from here on out and he doesn't actually have any more issues, Penthalox might actually be in a fantastic position coming towards the end. But the gap right now, 23.1 behind Yonti and Luke. Penthalox would need to close up. He needs a safety car, really. That's his only way back in.
Absolutely, and I think every race needs a safety car just to spice things up. There should be mandatory safety cars.
well, I think no, because
sprinklers and all these mental things.
Oh, 1 second, because Pampernic's going for a move on now. What was race leader? As Pampernic will now take the race lead. Somebody will not go for a fight back because he's not trying to. He's just trying to manage his tires. And I think we're going to see a repeat of what he did in Mexico. Granted, we're not going to see any 2 stops from anybody. At least I don't think we are. And if some idiot just push the softs a bit further out, I'm thinking sort of end of lap 9, beginning of lap 10, he'll pit, chuck on some mediums. He'll be able to take the tires further for longer and be faster for longer. That ultimately some idiot's going to still continue to win this race. I think this race is pretty much his to lose.
Yeah, some idiot will be the happiest man on the racetrack right now, or I thought he would have. But he has come in for the undercut, I presume. But yeah, generally somebody is really happy when you overtake him. If you're going a similar pace and you're not holding him up, somebody is more than happy to let you past and work with you at a benefit to his own race, of course.
Interesting that somebody has chosen to do this strategy. I honestly thought he was going to take his tires that bit further, but no, clearly he's not. So lap 9, sorry, is when he decides to chuck the mediums on. He's going to have to take these pretty far now. Granted, less than the likes of Coppet, Mizzo, and Beaker. Danico and Yonti. They're the ones who did it earlier. They've all just put behind him as well. So this is good for some idiot. We'll see what happens there.
Yeah, I'm not sure this is one of the circuits where the strategy has much wriggle room. There's a meta strategy and you stick to that. Not much room for sort of creative thinking there, like there was in Mexico, where it generally assumes you're going soft to hard, but if you're careful you can stretch it. None of that here. None of that here, I don't think.
I mean, the hards and the mediums are actually not that different in terms of pace. Like I say, I was actually racing on Sunday in this exact same Grand Prix. I chose the softs hards. Everyone around me chose the softs mediums, and we were all about the same pace. And even when I got onto the hards, I was still able to hold people back whilst I was running in P1. So I'm not complaining. I think that they could actually go hards and take it further. Oh, bit of a back-end step out there for Fred Gioco. He's sliding a bit now on these 8-lap-old softs.
Yeah, Fred Gioco really struggling out there. I mean, he should be ahead of these medium guys. But just, yeah, that's going to really cost him when he comes into the pits, and I think he will this lap. He's going to go maybe even below Pentathlon and Beaker here.
Now, we haven't seen the usual crash into the pit wall on the circuit just yet, as a lot of the drivers do tend to get caught out by that. Yonti saying the new fastest lap, 1:35.727, is currently sat P6. Although he should hopefully jump later as Pampernic's come out, and he's actually slotted out behind Samidia, so the undercut has worked wonders for him. Bit of a back-end step out for Yonti. He's coming for him.
The second gap, which is the most important thing, if he is going for a selfish race, which is a blast at the line, he's in a good position right now, but he has to keep that pace up. And Danico could help him achieve this. He's only about 3/10 behind. He's struggling a little bit, but with the DRS, I think he might be able to burst past Pampernic. I think he'll try it. And I think that could leave somebody with a bit of room, a small window to just get away from him. And here comes Danico.
Yeah, Danica gonna give it the full beans all the way down the home straight.
He's
the back straight, sorry.
No, he's saving now, but
yeah, he's turned everything off. Wow.
No interest whatsoever. I mean,
but that's a mistake. It has to be, because look, Pampernic 1.3 seconds behind Samidia, and that gap doesn't look like it's going to reduce. Now there is a chance that Pampernic could bring it back up, bring it back down again. But Danico not going for the pass there in Pampernic now puts himself in a position where he could potentially lose out to Samidia and not actually get the win. It looks like now the best he's going to get is P2, and that's if Pampernic doesn't find some pace all of a sudden.
I'm not sure. To be honest, I would put my faith in Pampernic and bank on him to get that 1 second gap back while staying in that DRS. I'm not sure what I would have done there. I certainly would not have turned the DRS off halfway through the straight.
I think it's just too risky.
Yeah, and that as well. If you wanted to stay behind, surely you just step off the throttle. I don't understand why he's turned his DRS off halfway through the straight. That's all. It's a strange decision.
I just think it's too risky to not go for the pass, honestly. Like, you choose not to pass there, you're basically saying, Pampernic has to be fast enough to close in on somebody here. If he isn't,
and a yellow
we're in
flag in
trouble.
sector 3, it's Luke. I think it's in the pits, though.
Yeah,
it is. Yeah.
He's not happy, though, that's for sure.
No, I don't blame him either. VSC. Oh, he's just joined again. So... No, he definitely retired, right? So
yeah, he retired. I think he was like, oh, I shouldn't have left because I'm going to get qualifying ban. And then rejoined.
I think it might just have been a disconnect issue.
Yeah, of course.
I think he might just lost connection to Steam like this game does. But no other game loses connection to Steam. It's just definitely
fastest disconnect and reconnect I've ever seen in my life.
I just think it might have just been a bit of a bug with the game. But it's brought a virtual safety car out. If it lasts long, no, I don't think it is of use to Spicy and Dennis, because what are they going to turn on to?
Nothing.
No, Spicy's in. Beaker drive-through penalty for speeding in the VSC. Dennis, I think, agreeing with me, I don't see the benefit to pitting right now.
No, I mean, what are you going to go on to?
Mediums is all you can really... No, he's gone for hards.
That's a mistake.
Hards are not going to be competitive.
No. I mean, it's a soft to something strategy of this circuit. There's no doubt about it. You have to go softs to whatever. Obviously, these guys started on the mediums, so it's a mediums to softs. That's just how it has to be. You haven't got a choice about it. Beaker retiring from the session, does not want to serve his drive-through penalty. I can't see where he is, though.
No, neither can I. That's interesting. He has vanished into the void. He's gone over the barrier somewhere. It's been a mega crash, but we've missed it. Yeah, what you're saying about softs to something, I would argue, is always softs to mediums with a bit of tyre management. That would always be the better preferred option for me, as we saw in Mexico, and I'm going to keep reminding you that we saw in Mexico.
Do I need to remind you about what happened on Saturday?
I was right, and you were wrong.
You were not. Softs hards was the strategy, and it proved overall. It just, the soft mediums was better than the two-step strategy. That's all we determined there.
Wrong.
No, right. But anyway, Yonti and Mizzo. Actually, Yonti going down the inside of Mizzo here. There's not a lot he can do about it. Although the back end stepping out for Yonti means Mizzo will resume back into P5. And Yonti, you can't keep doing that. You keep losing the rear, you're going to end up with no tyres left, considering how far you've got to go on these tyres.
Well, more importantly, you're going to end up with Ben McConnell going into your cockpit and reading your steering wheel out for everyone to hear.
102 degrees rear right.
And that's the biggest embarrassment in racing, I think.
It is now, yeah.
This guy with like Eagle Mega Vision reading your dashboard.
Did you not know that genuinely?
I knew there was information there. I cannot read that. I'm on board with Mizzo now. I think there's a couple of 3-digit ones there.
Yeah, all of them. Every single tire is over 3 digits.
Well,
like
he's
that.
pushing hard then. But the point
it's a mixture.
He's 1.8. He's 1.8 away. The DRS train's left without him. Although that being said, it's pretty split up at the moment, so it's not the end of the world.
Yeah.
But Danico's got himself in a really good position.
So is Samidi actually, onto the back of Dennis. I don't know if he's going to go for a send here. I mean, it'd be a hell of a send. He had to look down the inside. I thought he was going to go for it. But he's actually still there and could still go for it. Dennis shouldn't really put up a fight. He needs to just move over.
This could be really costly. This isn't the right place to catch what is essentially a back marker and somebody going for the send as you'd expect.
Yeah.
And
ooh,
hanging him out to dry.
Bit of a touch.
I mean, I can't argue with that. I can't argue with that. He's much, much quicker. Dennis has the right to defend his position, but is it the right thing to do? No, I don't think so. I think he should sort of try and work with him. But
so I've figured out what's wrong.
DRS. Yeah?
I've figured out what's wrong with the Alphas. They have too little wings. That's the issue. They I guarantee you they're doing something like 2.5 or 2.6. I guarantee you. I'd be intrigued to find out. But yeah, if you watch the way that they're taking the lines through the Sector 3, that long right-hander, like it's not like they mistimed the line. It's that they just don't have the aerodynamical grip to carry the car through. You can see how much they're fighting the car to try and get the car rotated. And that's causing they're a missile when it comes to the whole second sector back straight. But they're useless when it comes to sector 1 and 3. That's why you're seeing, look, Mizzo now up to 2 seconds, and Yonti, I mean, he's pretty relaxed behind him, but Yonti's just making mistakes.
Yeah, I think Yonti would be in a great position, really, being dragged along by this car that's extremely quick on the straights, and not really having the grip or the pace to close up that much in the slow section. But that goes along with what you were saying about the setup here and how important it is, and I think it's similar how you'd set up the car, not as extreme, but to Belgium, because you think about it, you've got the Kemmel straight, you've got the back straight Blanchimont and all that, and then you've got this twisty medium speed corner middle sector, and I think it's very similar here in terms of setup. You can either set up for sector 1 or sector 3 or just for sector 2.
And that's the thing, it's an evaluation of yourself, looking at your timings in comparison to other drivers, and obviously you can see that on the likes of the time trial leaderboards, you can see that everywhere else from just data you can obtain. The sort of things you need to look at is, where am I weakest and where am I strongest? Adjust your setup accordingly to help pick up where you're weakest, so you can then overall get a pretty balanced area. If you're really good in Sector 1 and Sector 3 and you don't really require the amount of downforce, then yeah, absolutely turn your downforce a little bit. And then you can nail it on Sector 2 as well, and you recover all of the time lost and actually start to chuck in some ridiculously good lap times. But if you then try and just enhance the sectors you've already got, you're going to lose a lot when it comes to that Sector 2. If you then go, right, look, I'm really good in Sector 1 and 3 because I can turn the lines right, but I need my aero in order to achieve that, then it's like, well, okay, but then just understand, when you get to the straight, like now, for example, you've got Danico and Dennis. Danico's actually alongside of him. Dennis is actually going to lose out because of the fact of the extra pace he's got, and I think Danico is clearly feeling as though he's comfortable in Sector 1 and 3, and he's chosen to have less wings.
Yeah, I would not. I was looking at just chilling through that first sector. I would not like to be driving that Alfa Romeo. It's
so uncomfortable.
City, and he's not bought a return ticket. That's a one-way ticket. As Luca retires from the session, crashing into the pit wall.
Oh, that's yeah. And virtual safety car.
And a virtual safety car, the third of the day.
I literally said earlier, didn't I? I said, well, we haven't seen anyone crashing into the
he's gone in
deadly pit
backwards.
wall here.
If you just ride on board with Dennis now, oh, you've missed him. But I could have sworn I saw his nose pointing the other way, like his rear wing had got into it.
Well,
point remains to VSC, and it's a risk from Dennis.
Oh no!
12 laps. He's on the hards.
That's a mistake. That's a hell of a mistake.
It was tight either way. He's gone for safety rather than.
I don't think he chose that, honestly.
Oh, big penalties there from Yonti and Mizzo for track limits.
Oh,
and he gets a penalty
no.
for speeding into the safety car.
Oh no! That's a retirement. That's a retirement if I've ever seen one. He's had hard tyres chucked on, even though you know he went for softs. He then gets a drive-through penalty for speeding under the safety car. What could have been a really good strategy, benefiting from that virtual, just suddenly went from being the best thing to the worst thing, and now his race is absolutely done.
Honestly, I think 12 on the soft was a big ask. On a track like this where tyre temp is so hard to manage. I think 12 would have been a big ask. I think he's just simply gone on the side of caution. That VSC coming at the exact wrong time for Dennis. And I really feel for him because the reverse strategy's been completely ruined and he's found himself about 15 seconds adrift of the field on a much slower and cold tyre.
So Jesse had a little bit of a fight there with Copy. Ended up not working out for him. He did end up just slowing behind him again. And he definitely took some life out of those tyres. The temperature's pretty hot. They were 100 degrees throughout the entire of the third sector. So he's going to have to worry about now is, how do I get to the end of this race? You know, he's going to be doing 18 laps in total on these mediums, so it's still doable. Yeah, he definitely did want to go hards. Yeah, retiring.
I think he did want to. Well, I don't think he wanted to. I think he was left without a choice, to be honest.
I'm sure we'll find out in a second, but I think he was going for softs because the game even flashed softs for a split second, and then it flicked back to hards again. So I think he just got screwed over, honestly. And then, oh, Jesse cut that so hard. Yeah, and then I think ultimately, when it chucked him in the hards, he was already livid, and then the drive through into the safety car was the straw that broke the camel's back.
Yeah, I don't know. No, I'm not sure, but it's irrelevant.
Jesse's going to copy.
He's out of the race.
Well, Jesse through on copy then. Yeah, it definitely looks like he's got those extra wings lowered. We'll see if he's able to use that to help bring him in, but it's a 2.4 second gap to Yonti ahead.
Ferrari. Oh no, sorry, it's Dennis's Ferrari that's come out. But he brought out yellow flags in sector 1 and 2. As the AI took him around half of sector 1 before parking it. But Mizzo in no man's land here, 1.4 away from Danico, a driver he wouldn't usually be trailing. And yeah, I think I have to agree with you. He must have got it wrong with setup.
Yeah. I think that's ultimately been Mizzo's downfall as well. I mean, Sector 2 overall is a really pretty simple sector. I mean, it starts, like I say, halfway through the S's. So you only have to worry about like the first 3 corners in the second sector. After that, it's just a whole long, you got a hairpin, then a long back straight, and then another sort of hairpin. So you don't need to worry about having that less aero. You need to just flick your aero up a little bit, go for about a 4.7, maybe even a 3.7, and then just carry that through. Set your anti-roll accordingly, and enjoy the rest of your race.
I love this circuit. It's such a great circuit to drive.
Said no one ever.
I genuinely, I know, I must love all the weird tracks. I like sort of Hungary and, well, no, Silverstone you don't like, but Monaco, Kota. But nobody likes Abu Dhabi. We can establish that safely.
Yeah,
nobody likes Abu Dhabi.
Yeah.
That's horrible.
Mizzo, I think I was right, has got definitely much lower wings. Yonti had DRS and ERS set into mode 4. And the toe, and still couldn't get up to the back of Mizzo. Like, he was closing in, but Mizzo was just that much of a rocket on that back straight. There was no way Yonti was catching him. So, yes, the setup is helping Mizzo hold P4. But what could have been if he had that little bit extra error? Would he be able to attack Danica? Would he be able to attack Pampernick? Because the gaps are not that far away. You know, just that slight little modification could have made a huge heap of difference.
Yeah. Well, we won't know unless we look at his data. It could just be a case of him not liking the track, but I do genuinely believe that you're right, and it is a setup issue. Let's watch him through Sector 1, because this is where he'll be suffering the most.
Yeah, look at it. He's like, come on, just turn. Please turn. Please turn. Again, please. The whole time he's just fighting the car, praying it will eventually turn. And what you're gaining in straight line speed, you're losing here, not just in cornering grip, but also tire wear. You're forcing your car to do things it can't do without additional support. And you're reliant on the tires and the mechanical grip of the car to actually pull you around the corners. And now 1.8 second gap to Danica, 1.9 second gap to Danica. It's just not working for him at all. Yonti still in the DRS, but the only thing that's holding Yonti behind is the fact that Mizo is just such a bullet.
Yeah, it's spot on, I think. Just chilling as well. He gets past Copy, but Copy able to easily stay with him, but not able to get past, which I think is a symptom of this strategy that I think they both share, to be honest.
Yeah.
They're not slow by any means. I mean, to be 5 seconds off the leader, give or take, it's not too bad. But down in P4 in what is a race that is a real DRS train, a real slipstream fest. So it's down to 2
just
seconds now. As
Copy
does make it on Just Chillin', but Just Chillin's going to have the cut back. And it's going to be neck and neck into turn 2. The inside now for 3, which means Just Chillin' as they bang wheels. Absolutely no room given.
Yeah.
Both drivers running wide and cutting, and Just Chillin' gets it. I think we could see a bit of a fired up battle here, so I'm going to stay on board as Mizo picks up another 3 second time penalty. Now, Copy has got a DRS zone coming up.
Yeah, and a lot of ERS. Look at that, 86%.
A lot of battery and a lot of fury beneath that helmet.
That was the most expensive game of chicken I've seen. You know, you're coming through the first sector side by side, one of you has to back out.
He's going to have to send it. It's going to be pretty straightforward. He gets alongside, doesn't get the move done before the end, has to take it too wide, and once again the cutback from Just Chillin'. He's going to hang it around the outside. He's not going to give, and Copy will swing it in, flick it to the inside here, and I knew exactly what he was going to do, but JC breaks early.
Yeah.
JC, a 3 second time penalty, which will obviously be rescinded after the race, but big damage for Copy. That's, don't want to say it, but that's race over.
Yeah. I mean, you can see by his throttle, he's already given up as well. I wouldn't be surprised if he chucks in the pits and retires. Just,
yeah, that's a brave move. It's exactly what I would have done as well. You flick it to the inside, you know you can make an overtake, or at least force it too wide there. I just don't think he expected JC to break as early.
Well, I mean, that's the thing. JC also read the situation. He's been on this rodeo before. He knows what's going on. It's just Copy didn't expect him to defend it. JC had every right to be there. It's the gamble you go for. When you go for those sort of moves, you are absolutely gambling. Does he leave you the gap to go back in it, or is he going to protect it? If he protects it, you're done for. Exactly like Copy did.
Did you just imply that breaking early from Just Chilling was a defensive move?
Well, I was more the fact he's defending the line and not necessarily defending as in trying to get in his way necessarily. He was just trying to make sure that there was not an opportunity to come back in.
Close to the back of Mizo here. He's going to try and make a dive. He goes for it, but not enough for the car alongside, but forces him out of the way. Elbows out.
That was a bit too much.
What the hell, man? He hit me. He hit me. That'll be the Alfa Romeo Discord right now. It'll be lit up by Mizo. Yeah. If there's no damage, I can see Mizo getting back into that.
Maybe.
He's done a good job of saving energy. I think he can deploy that and drag himself back, but not a lot of time to go.
Yeah, not a lot of tire wear to work with. That's the other thing. I don't see Mizo getting back into this. I do, however, see Yonti getting in trouble for that. Because, granted, it was a move, and ultimately it was a racing incident to an extent, but he sent Mizo off the circuit.
I think if you punish for that, I think we're doing a good job of killing racing, to be honest. As Pampernick just flicks it underneath 1 second. With 6 laps to go. Oh, he's just got over, but 6 laps to go would be the perfect time to start making your charge towards the front. Both of the drivers now struggling for battery. Danico looking pretty good behind, but just slightly adrift of that DRS.
So you can start calling me the Oracle, because Dennis has confirmed that yes, he did actually want to go out on the softs, but the game did a silly thing, in his own words. He did have softs on the dashboard. I mean, like I say, it flicked up softs for like a very split second, and then it flicked back to hards again. So it doesn't surprise me that he ended up in that sort of situation. But I've just seen a yellow flag, but I have no idea what could have caused that. Everybody looks okay.
It could be the I don't know. I don't know. No idea. I was gonna make a joke there, but I kind of just brain farted halfway through. But yeah. Ben McConnell, the Oracle, you heard it here first. Yeah. Who's going to win this race?
Some idiot.
Okay, Pampernick closing in.
Yeah, but I think some idiot's going to let him by. And look at the ERS.
This lap.
Yeah, but look at the ERS difference. I mean, yes, some idiot has burned a lot, but he is race leader. That's expected when you're being chased. You're trying to keep the driver behind at bay. Pampernick is almost the same ERS usage in comparison. I think somebody's going to let Pampernick through.
Hypothetically, what if Pampernick doesn't go through?
He will. He's the kind of driver who is very much favoritizes track position. You've seen in his style of driving, I especially saw it on Saturday, for example. He is a fast boy and he likes to show it. He doesn't like. He's not patient, is the words I would use. Somebody is like the old guy who's very trained, very experienced, and very patient. Pampernick is the aggressive, young, sort of want to be as quick as possible and show the world what I'm capable of. And it's like the tortoise and the hare kind of thing.
Yep, okay. I agree with you completely. Not sure how old somebody is, and I'm not sure how kindly he's going to take to you calling him...
well, I mean, I'm older than I can almost guarantee it.
I don't know. I was shocked when I saw Brownie, who isn't racing today, but he's like 55, isn't he?
Oh, wow. He's not that old. He's not that old. I think he's about my age, maybe slightly older.
Oh, so he just looks... I'm sorry.
Yeah, I think he's about my age. Pampernick, again, though he hasn't yet passed him. He's actually choosing to charge the battery a little bit more, but they've both charged about the same. So somebody has read this situation quite nicely. Pampernick, I don't know. We'll see how he gets onto this.
I would be very, very cozy if I was Pampernick right now. He's, I wouldn't say comfortably quicker, but I think he can step up his game and really take it to some idiot. But he doesn't want to do that at this moment in time, and he doesn't need to do that. What he needs to do is just keep some idiot working, keep him at an arm's width, and just prepare to make your move. It'll come a couple of laps from now, I think. But already he's thinking, how can I set this up so I can guarantee the overtake? How can I...
Right here.
Where's he weak? Where am I strong? I don't think it's not this moment. Yeah, he doesn't even move into overtake. He's just keeping it high. He wants to maintain the gap.
Yeah.
Maybe slightly reel him in, but we'll see it. We'll see him drop it down right now. Yep, there we go. No interest in overtaking yet. I think he's just scouting out his rival.
I think he thinks he's doing a better job than he is, though.
I completely agree that Pampernick thinks he's won this race.
Yeah. I mean, Smitty is actually starting to lose the rear, though.
I think he's right. Somebody has spent too long in the lead. His tyres are slightly old. I'm not sure that will make too much of a difference, but somebody has been hung out to dry. Yeah. He's still giving it everything, and he's still a damn quick driver, but I think Pampernick may have played him here.
Potentially, but the thing I'm worried about for Pampernick is I think he's been a little bit overconfident. I think he thinks he's doing a better job than he actually is, because you think, you know, being in the scenario he's in, by being so close to the back of some idiot, that you think, oh, surely somebody is absolutely tearing through his ERS. But he's been averaging in the 30s for quite a while. He's not really lost that much. He's actually regenerated from when the battle started. So I think Pampernick thinks he's applying enough pressure. In my opinion, I don't think he's applying enough. You need to be using that mode 4 a little bit just to close in a bit more. Make some idiots scared that you're going to go for a send it. And then cause him to make mistakes. And we'll see from there. As Mizo gets another 3-second time penalty. I don't know if either of these two actually have penalties. I've not seen any pop up.
I don't think so. But yeah, the Oracle has spoken, everyone. But he lost a lot of time there, actually. Some idiot pulled out about 3/10 in that first sector, which is going to get retaken as Pampernick realizes he's got to shift it into overtake just to keep that gap.
Yeah. I mean, some idiot definitely dumped a fair bit of ERS there to try and pull away.
It all depends on whether some idiot has got something in his pocket that he's holding back. I don't think he has. I think he's giving it everything he's got right now. I think that's just the kind of driver he is. He just 100% gives it everything, within reason, within tire saving, but he doesn't save 10% back just to sort of be able to pull away and be able to maintain the gap. He's always trying at 100%.
Well, we'll see. We'll see how this works out for him. He's running out of time though. Still have very few laps to go, and somebody is actually doing well at holding Pampernick back, but at the same time, like I say, he's now in a position where he actually has a lot of ERS. So if Pampernick should decide, okay, I want to go now, then he will be pretty fast. It's how does somebody react to that? He has half the ERS that Pampernick has. And I'm going to say it, whilst I don't necessarily agree with it completely, I do think some idiot's tires are starting to give out. I think he's just getting a little bit too concerned about the car behind him, and he keeps losing the rear. He's actually short shifted so hard through there.
Some idiot will not be concerned, I don't think, about Pampernick at all. He'll be begging him to pass him, but some idiot is super composed. He knows exactly what he's got to do. The only time he does get emotional is when he gets bumped. And, ooh, gets very close there, does Pampernick. But it is just a case of one mistake, as Pampernick takes a much wider line. Doesn't really benefit with a better exit there, so...
I think it was more of a tyre management line, that, to be honest, because I think he knows what's coming. He's got to push, and he's got to push really hard.
Yeah, trying to manage that slip of the rear tyre. But he's saved up to 70% now, and some idiot's got 40%, but I think a couple laps now where he goes all out from Pampernick should be enough to get him within striking distance.
Honestly, he's still got this. Some idiot's still got this, for sure, because Pampernick's going to have to dump the lot to catch up to him through some idiot's natural pace, and then he's going to have to dump even more to make the pass, and then he's going to have to dump a lot just to keep some idiot at bay. Because some idiot, once he gets past, he's going to be ready to just fire it, and he's going to go all out.
I think this last blast through the final straight will tell us everything we need to know, I think. How close will Pampernick get this time round?
Oh, look at that exit from some idiot. He's gone. See you later. 6/10 is the gap. There's no way Pampernick's getting him here.
For the first time gets off that line, tries to break the slipstream, but Pampernick gets very close, even has a look.
He's not getting it.
Ooh, a bit of a mistake from some idiot. Just locks up midway through that corner, and look how close they are now as Yonti and Danico briefly swap positions. They were much closer. It's 5/10 now, but it was around 2/10. So there's two battles emerging on this final lap.
Yeah. Well, second to last, we're about to get into... Well, this is probably going to be the biggest lap of this entire race.
This has to be the lap. Hot lap, all lap, and a bit of a slide from both the Williams drivers, but it's half a second at the line. It was 9/10 last time around, and now Pampernick gets extremely close to the back. Yonti as well, but Yonti running much closer to zero in terms of ERS.
No, Samidis made a bit of a mistake there. He should have been in mode 0 so much earlier than he was, because he knows there's no overtaking opportunity through this sector. No one goes for a move here.
Do you know what I would do right now? I would slow right down,
Yeah.
let that verdict pass to get that DRS, and then try and go for it down the back straight.
What is this, open lobbies?
Yes, it's always a 5-lapper in my book, as Mizzo retires from the session.
Oh, well, look at this, because Pampernick and Samidi are still going at it. Samidi's had to go defensive on the back straight, whilst Pampernick can't actually get it. He's going to have to go for a very, very last second yeet. Here it comes into the braking zone. He can't get it. Samidi is going to... That's a big mistake there. Oh, they're still side by side, but I think Samidi's going to be able to hold this out. He has to get the momentum out of this corner. He cannot afford it.
Well. A carbon copy just behind as Yonti goes side by side with Danico.
Oh, no!
And the send from Pampernick, and he's around! But he's kept it going. He's kept it in the right direction. Maybe as he gets a better line. He gets a better line into the penultimate corner. Somebody comes across.
Oh, no!
They touch.
He has to give it back, surely. He can't take this to the line.
He's not giving it back. There's no... He locks up.
That's naughty.
And takes the checkered flag straight to the steward's office, you two. Danico comes in third. Yonti in fourth. With 5-second time penalty. I believe that was under a VSC, so that will get looked at. And I think with penalties, Yonti would take P3 once the penalty is overturned.
We need the Avengers, because that was a war.
Oh, some idiot. I would give anything to be in a Discord with him right now. He'd be absolutely fuming.
Yeah, for sure.
Straight... You know, the keyboard is boiling hot right now. He is slamming those keys.
All caps. Definitely raging in the chat. I mean, in fairness, I would be. You know, that was very, very aggressive from Pampernick. No way, in my opinion, is that acceptable to try and overtake. I can understand why he's going for it. You know, it's a very desperation move. But again, it comes back to what I was saying before about Samidia. He's a much more mature head when it comes to racing. He's able to do that more focused, consistent race, whereas Pampernick is very hot-headed, has to go for it. It's really going to just take the opportunity and smash it through, and so literally, that's what he did. He smashed into the back of Samidia and almost killed him. It's only through Samidia's sheer skill he was able to catch the car and avoid ending his own race.
Yeah, and the same could be said the other way around a corner earlier, as Samidia turned in and Pampernick tried to lunge down the inside of that slow cambered corner.
Yeah.
Both of them nearly spin out, but they managed to keep it straight. And wow!
Oh, I mean, this is
the race in Texas was decided by a bump and run.
Yeah,
it really was.
It's an odd
decided by a bump.
Well, I think we'll have to give a provisional rundown of the standings, because Pampernick did cross the line in P1, although I have a feeling the stewards are going to get hold of him and knock him down. Probably down a place, based on however the penalty goes. If they do give him a 3 or a 5, he's only going to drop a place. It'd have to be a hell of a penalty for him to lose any more than that.
Even a 10, he would still maintain P2, but
yeah.
I don't see him keeping that P1.
No, me neither.
It would be interesting to see what happens, but...
Yeah. So it is Samidia in P2, Danico in P3, Yonti P4, JC in P5, and by 0.02 of a second, Spicy is behind JC in 6th. Copy in 7th, Fred Joko in 8th, Penthalox in 9th with Mizzo, who did DNF, but does still count, I think, because of how many laps he did finish. He does finish to get the final point, although he is classed as a DNF, along with Dennis, along with Luca, Beaker, Luke, and Max Thorne. Leaves me with a final question then for you, is who's your driver of the day?
Oh, wow. I had so many bad races by a lot of people. I think... JC, I think.
Yeah?
It has, I think... Not somewhere he'd usually be. Although it could maybe be Spicy. It's tough, because there was only 9 finishes.
Yeah.
All you had to do was to climb the grid was not crash.
Not die.
Yeah,
I think,
exactly.
honestly, though, I think it still goes to Spicy, in my opinion. I mean, he managed to drive so cleanly. He started from so far back. He avoided all carnage, and he did it all on a default setup. Like, that deserves it. It's either him or Samidia, in my opinion. Samidia drove perfectly well. He kept himself completely clean in terms of penalties. You know, there was obviously moments between him and Pampernick on the racetrack on the final lap, but, you know, who's to blame for that? We'll let the stewards decide. And I think it was a deserved win that was robbed from him. And I honestly, if it was physically there, if we could see Pampernik, Samidia, and Danico out there on the podium, you know for a fact somebody would have walked up, grabbed that number 1 from Pampernik's car and stuck it in front of his car and put the 2 in front of his because he would have deserved it.
Yeah, I was envisioning that when he came across the line. It was it was Canada all over again.
Yeah, exactly.
Just had a message from Mizzo saying he lost motivation after he was punted wide by Yonti. I think we remember that bit.
Yeah.
Where Yonti, he's just completely sent it. But I'm not sure. I think you've got to have a bit of elbows out at some point.
Yeah. I'm kind of with Mizzo. I think it was a bit too much, in my opinion. I think there is racing, but when you've got to give that position back. If you're going to do that, I think going for that send is fine, in my opinion. I think ultimately the damage that was caused and the impact that was caused, I think is overall fine, had Yonti just given him the position back. But the fact that he carried on racing, carried on driving the way he did, and left it down to the stewards to decide, because that's ultimately where we're going to get to, I think we're going to be in a position where I think Yonti will probably end up getting penalised, and I think rightly so. But anyway, that's it for the European Racing Series Grand Prix here in the USA. It's been an absolute pleasure to commentate for you. I've been Ben Rwaggy McConnell, and joining me has, as always, been David Fossetti Time Tate. Thank you, sir. You are a lad, and I enjoy getting into the commentary with you every week.